launch into who I am and what the rounds are that we're going to watch today, but I feel like I've been around for just a little too long. And for this special day, we have for you a special host and moderator. He is India's most popular and loved food show host, anchor of The Foodie, a food columnist and writer for various newspapers across the country, author of Made in India, a political satirist, writer. He's also the performer and director at The Week That Wasn't on CNN. So it is my pride and honor to welcome on stage Kunal Vijayakar.
Thank you so much. I think that was a rather long introduction for a very fat man. On that note, I think it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you all to the grand finale of the Mind Wars Mumbai Debate Championship 2021 in association with the Indian Schools Debating Society. Now, first of all, I'm just really happy that after all this COVID and this lockdown, that schools are finally reopening. Mumbai has reopened schools, at least part of them. Delhi tried to reopen schools, but it was not COVID, but fog which has shut down every school. And I was talking to a politician in Patna. I said, "School khul gaya." So he asked me, "Ye school kya hota hai?" So that's the state of our country at this point of time. And we have a lot of topics that we are going to debate about in this wonderful debate. Young kids with bright minds, with great thoughts, are going to share that all with you. Now, you all know that debating is critical. It's a critical skill. It's very, very important for your future. Being able to debate is really important because, after all, you all will grow up. You all will get a job. You will all go out into the world. And finally, debating is important because you all will also get married. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. What we should know is that we live in a democracy. And debate is the bedrock of democracy. A fundamental part of freedom of expression, a free mind, free thought, and the openness to discuss anything and everything. On that very, very serious note, how are we going to decide who wins and who doesn't win? How are we going to decide who the best debater is? For that, we've got three great judges, experienced judges, and I'm going to introduce them to you. To start off with, we've got Dhruva Bhatt. Now, anybody who debates knows who Dhruva Bhatt is. Then, we've got Amritvarshini Venkatesh, who, when you talk to, you know she's a debater because she can talk and talk and talk. And finally, we have Tisca Chopra. Tisca's insistence on excellence and passion have not only won her acclaim and fame, but also 2 Filmfare Awards. She recently turned filmmaker, writing and producing award-winning and critically acclaimed short films like Chutney and her directorial debut, Rubaru. Having acting in some super hits like Tare Zameen Par, Dil To Bachcha Hai Ji, and Good News, Tisca is a bona fide style and beauty icon. Beyond her acting career, Tisca has worked with Sam Pitroda on the National Knowledge Commission to revamp the education system. She works consistently with NGOs and small businesses to give a leg up to women entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, Tisca Chopra. Tisca, thank you very much for joining us, Tisca. We're an unusual forum. We've never met before on a debating stage before. Is this familiar to you at all?
What, the debating stage?
Yes.
Very familiar, actually.
How?
A bit nostalgic, actually, because I started debating when I was in the 8th standard and eventually debated every single year, lost the first 3 or 4 years, and then in the 12th standard finally won the All India Championship. So,
yeah, come on. Let's give her a big hand on this one.
Thank you, everyone.
So debating is I mean, you're familiar with it. You're familiar with all that goes through debating. And how would you say that debating made a change in your life? It must have made an impact, right, in the way you lived your life after this?
I think significantly one realizes the importance of what one did then. At that time, the pressure, the adrenaline, the rush of everything. But I think it inculcates 2 very key elements. One is precise thinking and articulating that precise thinking, and to be quick on your feet. The second, to be able to face a number of people and to face rebuttal and not take it personally. Those were key elements that I learned from being a debater. And also to lose gracefully, because I lost and lost and lost and lost, and then finally won. So all of those things were things that stand me in good stead.
No, this is very important what she said, because we live in a society which gets offended very easily for all kind of reasons. So here we are, to be able to accept that somebody else's argument may be better than ours is not a bad way to grow up, right?
Totally.
And does debating help in family life at all?
Well, it does. And when it doesn't, then the usual feminine while of going silent and sulking and not debating actually works very well sometimes.
Well, if I was your husband, I'd say, let her debate. I'm a pilot, I'm just flying away. Get out of here.
Indeed.
Thank you, Tiska. And I think it's time we start getting on with this day. So, are we ready for the quarterfinal, the first quarterfinal of today's debates? Yes? Come on, let's see some excitement over here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let me introduce the speakers for today. For the motion is Anuja Randeri, winner South Zone, Jasudben ML School Khar. One warm round of applause to her. And against the motion is Prathamesh Somvanshi, winner Thane Zone Mahila Samiti College. This is the topic. I'm sure everybody will be interested in knowing the for and against to this topic. And the topic is this: the government should mandate that those who want to move from a rural area to live and work in urban areas should apply for a permit to do so, and the government should issue a limited number of permits every year.
People who migrate from rural areas to urban areas don't always get what they want once they reach the urban areas. For this motion, I argue that doing this, issuing permits for people to move from rural areas to urban areas, will improve their chances of getting what they want when they shift to these areas. So first, before I explain why and how this will work, I'd like to state two issues that it will solve. One is that of slums and overpopulation, and the second is of the rural brain drain. So people move to urban areas to find jobs and be rich, but once they get there, this is what normally happens, and I've seen it in several households. So the people, there is a large supply of workers for the households. So when they go to the house and they ask for a pay raise, the people will say, well, I won't give you a pay raise, I'll just get someone else who will take it at a lesser price. So this way, people are in poverty, they're not getting their minimum wage, and a lot of them don't even find a job in these urban areas, because of which they suffer. More, because of this, slums are formed, and we all know how the conditions are in slums. Anyone who's taken a look at Dharavi knows that the people don't have living conditions. And this, because it's unregulated, this entire migration is a failure for the people. About rural brain drain, the main occupation in villages is agriculture, and agriculture needs a lot of human labor. So when people migrate in masses away from rural areas, there are less laborers to work over there, and since the people in villages don't know much about family planning, they may have a lot of children, and this just creates another overpopulation issue. And this is also one thing that occurs because this migration is not regulated. So why do I think that permits will solve this? The government can issue a sufficient number of permits throughout India. So the same number of people that migrate, those will be the total number of permits in India, but they will be distributed according to the population of cities. So a city that's overpopulated will only have a few permits, and cities that are underpopulated with lots of opportunities will have a lot of permits. People who have to move to a certain city for personal reasons like family, which can't be shifted, will be given the permits, but those who are looking for jobs will be sent to cities that have a higher demand, so they will get what they want. There won't be an overpopulation issue, and we won't really be infringing upon anything. We're just helping them make better decisions. They will also be taught about things like agriculture and family planning, which they can take back to their villages. They will be with their income, they will be allowed to buy things like high yield variety seeds. This will improve the agriculture once they return to the village, and And so I think that permits is definitely a good way to regulate all of this and make it more effective. Thank you.
So, let us consider that the permit rule is executed in the whole country. Now, imagine that you are from rural area and come from an economically backward background. And you are a brilliant student in academics and you do well in high school. Along with that, you have cracked exams like JEE and NEET. Now, you want to take admission in higher education institutes like AIMS and IIT. For this, now you would require permit, and unfortunately, all permits are exhausted and the next permit will be given till next year. Imagine how much big tragedy that will be for you and your place of you and your family, such that your place of birth it being a problem for you. Like this, many more problems will arise after the execution of the permit law. That too will be limited. But what is the purpose of this permit to avoid overpopulation? If you are restricting the rural people to come in urban areas, how will the low work like construction, cleaning, etc. will take place? So this becomes practically impossible to stop rural population to coming into urban areas. Also, how will people in rural areas will seek medical and educational help which are not available in rural areas and are basic amenities? Should rural populations suffer and remain uneducated? On this note, I would like to put forth two arguments. The basic migration rights in constitution, and second, the illegal and corrupt practices that will happen due to this. First, as per the constitution, there is a freedom for Indian population to move freely throughout the territory of India. Also, the Article 19, Section 1 and Subsection D of Indian Constitution entitles that every citizen to move freely throughout the territory of country. Along with that, Article 19, Section 1 and Subsection E states that every Indian citizen has a right to reside and settle in any part and territory of India. Imposing this law will cause violation of both of these laws. Even Honorable Supreme Court said that, and I quote, a person is fundamental right to reside and to move freely anywhere in the country cannot be refused. Second, the most important point is consequences. If we don't permit every person to travel in urban areas, they will have to bribe officers to get a permit. If they are refused, they will illegally enter and settle in urban areas. This will create more complications than earlier there were. In conclusion, I would like to say that this will create another Luxembourg where the rural population is not available in urban cities, and this will don't do any favor to either of the rural and urban case. Hence, it shouldn't be executed. Thank you.
Anuja, we have a question for you.
Okay.
I think opposition has rightly pointed out that because of the vast difference in living standards between rural and urban areas, people are desperate to move, and you stopping them this way will result in them moving illegally. Pretty much in the same way that a lot of Mexicans who cross the border and don't return to the US are illegal immigrants in the US right now. Their lives become much, much worse. They work for employers who can pretty much pay them nothing because they're all scared that they will get caught and deported. They can't access healthcare in the city because they don't have permits. They can't put their kids through school. So that actually puts them in a worse situation of poverty, as well as in constant fear of deportation and police action against them. I just want to know how you're thinking about the lives of those people.
So there will, as I mentioned earlier, there will be enough total permits in the country for people to go wherever they want. And basically the purpose of this is not going to be to stop them and to keep them in the rural areas. It's going to be to send them to urban areas where there is demand for jobs, right? So it's kind of making it better for them, and it's like an advisory system that'll improve their chances in the urban areas. And for things like medical issues and education, they're just staying for a short time. This entire permit is for living and working there, right? So it won't apply for cases like that. Also, if they don't agree to taking a job where somewhere else it is better, then if they have those illegal, if they still use those illegal means, of course we have to improve security. And in the end, I don't think they will even resort to it because they know that there are better jobs in different places. We still have people coming from Bihar to work in Maharashtra, so we know that it's possible for people to travel that far for work. So I think they will just go ahead with it pretty well, and they won't need feel the need to resort to it because it's for their own good. It's not limiting them.
Prathamesh, we have a question for you, which is, we think you made a very good case against this particular policy, but you haven't offered us any solutions of your own yet. Overpopulation in cities is a large problem. Slums are overcrowded with people not having access to education or healthcare and other services that they desperately need. So if we don't implement Anuja's policy, how do these areas become better?
Surely we can redirect the population because there is overpopulation in certain areas like Mumbai and Delhi, etc. But this problem extends all over the India. All parts of India are extremely overpopulated due to their high population. Because this does not solve the issue, we can kill people to solve the overpopulation. Also, by providing them proper facilities in slums like Dharavi with hospitals and education facilities, because we know that inside Dharavi people are doing many things. There are many workers, there are many factories. If we remove the Dharavi from there, Mumbai will lose its main income that it is generating. Because if you have seen Dharavi closely, you will see that this small place contains all the occupations, from textile industries to packaging industries, all are done here. Instead, if we combine all the Mumbai, this will not be enough to compete with Dharavi. So I would like to say that we can redirect this population like we did from factories that are in Maharashtra to Gujarat recently. So this will solve the problem of the overpopulation in our country as a whole.
Thank you, Prathamesh.
So we're going to give the judges a minute to deliberate and figure out which of the two, the for or the against, are the winners.
I don't think there's anybody who's really losing here. But in the interest of taking the competition forward, I would have to say that Anuja wins this round for us, and congratulations.
That brings us to the end of this round. Moving on to the next round, the quarterfinal 2.